And now for something completely different. Alan Wallace and the Attention Revolution. Generally, these video talks I've been doing have been on my own teaching and that of my teacher, Wang and Taoist Alchemy. That's the world that I'm most familiar with. However, when I started doing these videos, I really just wanted to have some fun and just put out some content that I thought would be interesting for people and helpful for people. And so I don't have any rules or anything, any specific things that I want to cover. And so by opening up the field, as it were, I realized that there's some other teachers out there that I think are just amazing people. Teachers, writers, people who are working to pass on the traditional spiritual traditions. Traditional spiritual traditions. Yeah, I did just say that. And one of those people is this guy here, Alan Wallace. You know, and I just love this guy. I really do. I love his writings. I love his teachings. I love his depth of knowledge, and the intellectual rigor that he brings to everything he does, as well as just energy and compassion. You know, he seems like a very really nice dude. And so Alan Wallace is he was a Buddhist monk. He might still be. I'm not sure. And he's quite involved he was quite involved with the Dalai Lama in the 70s in India, as well as some other well-known Buddhist teachers. And he has a lot of experience with the Buddhist tradition, as well as later on he became a scholar. As you can see from the title of the book, it's Alan Wallace, PhD. So he's also a scholar, and so he's been involved in research, both translation, translation of Buddhist texts into English, but also he seems fairly plugged into the whole world of using science, Western sciences, to explore the human nature and specifically Buddhist practice. So cognitive neuroscience, stuff like that. Not really my jam, to be precise. I'm more interested in just the practitioner's experience and working with that. But I think there are a lot of people who do like looking at cognitive neuroscience and just the sciences in general, and seeing how these ancient practices affect the human body and mind, from understanding that effect from a Western scientific point of view. So there is some of that in this book, but not too much. Again, not really my thing, but everything else is just fantastic. And what this book is it's a course and both an overview and a course of practice in Buddhist shamatha practice. And shamatha is basically stillness practice. And if you know Wang, my teacher, and what I teach, stillness is a central feature of Taoist alchemy, of Taoist internal alchemy, Neidan. For what I teach, at least for our lineage, what I teach and what my teacher teaches, you need stillness. Stillness is a foundation that the whole project rests on. It's not the end goal, but without stillness of mind and body, the work cannot get done. It's fundamental. And so this here is a Buddhist approach to working with stillness, right? And it's fantastic. One thing I really like about the Buddhists in general, and definitely Alan Wallace, is the clarity that they bring to the practice. There's a real sort of reasoned out approach and a very clear, lucid approach to what we're doing and the tools that we're using and the results we're looking for, with a clear idea of what sort of feedback we're looking for, what sort of benchmarks we're looking for on the path, right? So stillness, it can be tricky to get traction with if we don't have some sort of feedback, if we don't have some sort of, well, how am I doing? Right? Am I going in the right direction? And I think this book gives us that. It gives us a framework and a framework to understand where we need to go with stillness practice and how to get there and what to look for along the way, what tools to use along the way at each different stage. It's very much a process. Right? So it's not just sitting, it is a lot of sitting and practicing, but there are some really incredible tools that we can use in this book and from this, this tradition that we can use. Even if we're Taoist practitioners, right, and we're working with internal alchemy, there's definitely stuff that we can use within that, right? The Buddhists and the Taoists historically in China, they're the best of friends. And there's an incredible amount of cross-pollination that happened, right? Just look at Chan, Zen Buddhism, right? And so I think there's incredible value that can be had from looking at some of these other practices if you are coming from the Taoist tradition, right? So this guy, he adopts a 9-stage approach to practicing stillness. And it's not the only way you can do it, but it's historically it was used, and that gives us a nice clear idea of what stage we're at with our stillness, how still, how focused, how focused are we in our practice, and we can use these 9 stages to understand where we are, right? And one thing I love about this book is when you look at this book, you look at the title, The Attention Revolution, right? It sort of seems kind of like a personal growth type title, right? So meant for popular consumption, right? And then you see the PhD here. And I remember one thing I learned in university is if you ever see, if a publisher ever publishes the name of an author with PhD or whatever after it, it's probably for the personal growth market. It's probably not a legitimate academic source. And so this, I think what he was trying to do, what the publisher is trying to do is present shamatha practice to a wide audience. But the thing I love about it is it is not watered down in any way. He is presenting it as it should be. He's not dumbing it down. I mean, you have the 9 stages in here. The first 2 stages are accessible to a person in modern life, right? By the 3rd stage, which is not very far into the book, you're already required to go on retreat for lengths of time to work on, to get anywhere with the 3rd stage. For the 4th stage, yeah, you probably should be a monk, and the 4th stage still beginner, right? So a monk, practicing fairly full time, right? By the 5th stage, which is halfway through the book, yeah, you should be, in a hermitage somewhere for years at a time, meditating for, 10 to 16 hours a day, right? And that's just halfway through. And so I love it, the kind of that it's kind of cheeky, right? It's not watered down. It's like, yeah, if you really want to make headway into this practice and really get to where it can go, then that's the level of commitment you're going to need, right? And I think I like that approach, right? Because this stuff is incredibly deep. There's so much to it. And I think it's great to present it to a more accessible mainstream audience. But I think if we dumb it down and kind of shy away from, kind of like, this does take a lot of work. You got to really want to do it. It does a disservice, right? It gets watered down and stuff is going to get lost, right? By the last stage, so stage 9 is the last stage before you reach shamatha. Shamatha is defined, when you get to shamatha, is defined as sitting in cross-legged meditation for 24 hours with complete focus on your object. No random thoughts, nothing. No dazing off, no, you're just in each moment, you are crystal clear focus on that moment, right? Incredible, right? 24 hours. Yeah, I'm not there yet. You know, and that's I believe that's as we call the first jhana, or in Chinese Chan Zen, right? It's a very, very high level of practice, and that's in this book. This book teaches you how to get there, right? And it gives very, very clear tools. The other thing I like about this book is it's presented in a Buddhist context. But it works for other stuff. Anything that requires learning how to focus your attention and become still, you can find useful information in this. So for Taoist alchemy, which what I do. So what I did Tibetan Buddhist teacher years ago, and then I came across this book and I gave the methods a try. I did a 7-day retreat. I set aside my internal alchemy practice and which is something I don't usually do. I'm usually a bit of a purist, I think, to a fault. And so I think, I wanted to challenge myself to kind of try, just play around with some other stuff, right? And so I did a 7-day retreat in the mountains north of Santa Cruz in Northern California. Beautiful retreat center there. And wow, it was incredible. I mean, I think I had to. The internal alchemy had already prepared me for a certain amount. So when I was able to apply these methods, wow, I really got profound states of stillness. It was really, really incredible experience. So I recommend it. And I recommend Alan Wallace. I think he's just an incredible person. He's just doing so much good in presenting and passing on these traditions. It's just great. It really, there's so many really great people out there doing so much wonderful stuff, and so I just want to celebrate some of them. And I might, in the future, I might pick some other people, kind of my personal heroes, and present them here on this channel. Let me know what you think. Also, if you're interested, or if there are certain topics that you're interested in me talking about on this channel, let me know in the comments, right? And if it inspires me, I'll go for it. These video talks are very much a part-time gig for me. I'm doing a lot of, I'm writing another book, and I have another project on the go as well, which is really exciting. But if it inspires me and I want to do it, then I'll do some other talks on here as well. Yeah, okay. So yeah, check it out for sure. Take care. Bye-bye.